Is this your kitchen?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm here this morning with Cathy Pearlman, who is in my 8-week Inner Alignment Mastery program. And I think she has a really great story to share. So I thought that we would invite her to come in this morning and just speak with us for a little bit about her experience going through the program and what it was like for her. So how are you doing, Cathy?
I'm doing really well. I'm happy to be sharing this with you and everyone.
Aw, thanks. All right. So we'll just get right started. Why were you interested in signing up for the 8-week Inner Alignment Mastery program?
You know, I thought about this. It actually goes way back when I did a dosha test online,
Mm-hmm.
and I had no idea what Ayurvedic practices would entail, but I noticed that the responses of like the profile of who I am really like nailed it in such really specific ways, like things that I've never even, would talk about myself, but it was all visible. You know what I mean? It was like, it brought to light this whole profile of myself that I never really even considered. So,
Wow.
sensitivities about the environment even. So I kept that in the back of my mind, and I actually looked you up to see what was offered locally, and there your name was. And it actually took me another year to actually contact you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met with you a year ago, and that was a month-long cleanse that got me through the winter. It was really good to have this guidance to guide me through, a tough and stressful working situation and not feeling well a lot of the time on top of it.
Yeah.
So then a year later, I decided to look you up. Some of your messages were speaking to me, online. And then I called you and I thought, yeah, I think it's time to do a really, a very comprehensive cleanse. It's time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what brought me to you.
Yeah. So so when you came, what is it that you wanted to resolve, or what were your primary symptoms? Why did you want to do the cleanse?
My primary symptoms were reflux, and it was doctors have been trying to medically manage it for some time. And I was told that I needed to be on certain medications for the rest of my life. But when I looked up the precautions of these medications, they're really challenging to do long term. Like they have residual effects on other parts of the body. So I just didn't see how that was viable for me over the course of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be healthy, how that medication could actually trigger other problems. So, and then the doctors wanted to start doing scopes and all this exploratory stuff. And I was like, no. And on antibiotics on top of it.
Right.
So I just intuitively knew I just had to stop it right then and there. That's not what I wanted to do. I've done many other cleanses. I think I shared that with you. So, but they always fell short of long-term management of food.
Mm-hmm.
I get through a cleanse and then not know, like thinking that the cleanse should fix it all, but then the reintroduction to foods was always problematic.
Okay.
Yep.
So your symptoms would go away for the duration of the cleanse, and then they would come back when you started to eat.
Yes.
Normally again.
Hey.
Okay. Yeah, that's a common one when, there's a lot of different elimination diets out there, And so then people cut the food out, but it's either you cut these foods out forever, or you, when you start to eat normally again, the symptoms return. So that's one of the primary differences with what we did, is we were actually doing things to heal the intestinal lining so that you could broaden your diet and hopefully reintroduce foods back into your diet that perhaps you weren't able to eat before. So what do you think that you gained or you learned from doing the program?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think I've benefited from your knowledge base. It's just so vast, and I've learned to be patient with myself and to let this be a process that could take a year, you know, of healing, and that it's. I think my mentality in the past has been a cleanse, a quick fix, but that I don't think that that's truly no longer the case. I'm not thinking in those terms. So,
right.
Can you ask the question again?
Sure. What do you think that you've gained or learned from doing the program?
Right. Yeah. So patience with my own internal process. I feel like I have a set of tools to go about my day, and I have a schedule like that I adhere to that it's very, very comforting.
Mm-hmm.
And it does, every bit of it supports what I do in life, which is I have a job that's pretty stressful. So it does get me through my day and all that I have to do. I know to put in periods of rest and nurturing, and it's all part of that bigger picture of gut health.
Mm-hmm. So more of like a lifestyle practice.
Definitely that. Yeah, that's the way to phrase it. Yeah, that fits.
And then how is your digestion now currently since starting the program?
It's remarkable to think about how far I've come in such a short amount of time. So I did the bone broth healing. I felt like that was the most healing thing I've ever done for my body.
Wow.
Yeah. So the description that it was, soothing and healing the internal gut really fit. So I could do that, So I think reflux is the main thing. Can you hear me? It says it's on.
Yeah, actually you cut out for just a moment after you said that the initial fast that we did was the most healing thing that you've ever done for your body, and then you dropped off. So I don't know if you can rephrase that again.
Yep. So the reflux was the main thing. This disturbance of pain after eating, and belching and bloating, and this whole litany of problems with digestion. That's gone.
Wow.
And it's, I have to really think about what were the symptoms. But it was chronic, maybe over 15 years of belching and reflux.
15 years.
Yeah, 15 years. And my doctor said that's, I had this scarring in my esophagus from an immune system disorder, and called scleroderma. So over the course of working with you, you gave me these herbs that I truly think that it's really healing all of that. Any sensation that there's a problem there anymore.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
And this was something that my doctor said it would be a lifelong condition. I would have to deal with it, and with this medication. So happy to be off of that medication and on to this healing.
Absolutely. And those medications can be extremely difficult to get off of because they create such a dependency in the body.
I was on quite a few different medications that I went off of when I did the cleanse. And I think that in part was some of the difficulty that I had, just trying to have a homeostasis, like a balance without any of those things. So it took a while.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
absolutely.
The benefits are so great. And I expect that maybe over the course of the year, I'll still be, cleansing some of those medications that have been there for a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the end of the 8 weeks, you've got a good, a lot can happen in 2 months with the body. I like to describe it. The mouth, for example, is part of the gastrointestinal tract. So you know how it is if you cut the inside of your mouth, how fast it will heal. It could heal just in a couple days, like a cut but if you squeeze lemon juice constantly in that cut, then obviously it's going to take a lot longer to heal. So by taking out anything that's actually provoking it and just giving it the opportunity to regenerate itself, a lot can happen in those first 2 months. But and at the very least, you can have a foundational diet to live with while your body continues to heal, which will, take about a year, the digestion. So, yeah. So what do you think was one of the most difficult parts in doing the program? Or what has been one of the most difficult parts continually?
I think I've had all kinds of difficult illnesses in my life, autoimmune illnesses. So when I was going through some of the cleanses, it felt really serious sometimes.
Yeah.
To get in touch with you and really get you had an understanding of where this was all coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So the explanations to me were very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it did feel as if my health was getting away from me. Like this is really big.
Yeah.
That it's a problem, and that would be hard for me to manage on my own. So, I felt like I that was the hardest part, was some of the symptoms, and then
the symptoms that were coming up as you were cleansing.
Yeah, it was very, very serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like what was one of the symptoms that you could think of that came up while you were doing the cleanse that felt very, really serious?
Well, you had recommended, to begin introducing food probiotics.
Mm-hmm.
So for my system to be so screwy at that time that I couldn't even absorb or accept or tolerate probiotics really was depressing to me.
Yeah.
Beginning, because I was having symptoms of my mouth was swelling. I could feel like this immediate fatigue, like this curtain. And I'm like, certainly this is not what is causing this. This is what I was thinking. This is healthy food. Why am I feeling this? So I was feeling very distraught over that. Like,
yeah.
Betraying me or something.
All right.
But once you explained, what was happening, what that process was, and to hold back and to slowly introduce it over time. So now I'm eating probiotic foods without any problems at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it was that initial reentry that was so, it's like,
yeah,
there's something good for my body, and my body was not responding well.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's we have the whole ecosystem inside of our digestive tract, 4 to 6 pounds of bacteria that work in a really complex, intricate ecosystem. And we all hear about probiotics being so beneficial for our digestion. So we have a digestive issue, then the first inclination is to take a bunch of probiotics.
Yes.
But if you have like a bacteria imbalance inside of your gut, that can be really overwhelming. And then you get, you can have negative symptoms. Sometimes people break out in hives, or sometimes people get really strong acid reflux, or other things. So knowing how to stage that out and introduce that usually slowly over time is important.
So this just gelled for me in this moment. So I think I have spent my whole adult life just throwing different remedies at my system, hoping, because I know that these probiotics are good, fasting is good, so I would do these things, but it wasn't the big picture. It really was just superficial Band-Aid type, problem solving for this whole, digestive issue.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, things really need to be staged out in a way, because even things that are good for us, like especially for somebody that has digestive issues, autoimmune issues, which come back to the gut, allergies, which come back to the gut. You read something online or whatever that it's going to be good for you, but if you have a compromised gut, even herbs or supplements can then exacerbate your symptoms rather than make them better, because your body is not able to digest or utilize them. And Ayurveda talks about this at great length, that even if your digestion is compromised, even the best foods will turn to ama, or toxins in the body, because you're not utilizing them correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So is there anything you would like people to know who are suffering from digestive issues?
Yes, I just have to backtrack a little bit. Maybe this will help with that question. But so I'm committed to this diet, this lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I went to a wedding on Saturday, and the offering of food was, challenging, to say the least. So I did partake. I was being social, and I didn't have any reactions yesterday.
Wow, that's great.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's really comforting to know that I have this set diet, this place to come from, and my preferences of what I want to eat, but then I can be social. I can actually go off the diet to be with other people, and bring it back, to come back and maintain this beautiful, life-affirming diet that I have assumed for myself. So I can still be social. That was a big deal. It doesn't have to be some off-the-grid diet where it becomes a problem. Like, I was a raw foodist for years. That was a problem.
Right.
That was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard to be social when it's a raw foodist. So, and then I would recommend that people just make the leap, because you just don't know the tip of the iceberg. The symptoms are the tip of the iceberg, but then there's this whole foundation underneath that can support good health, vibrancy, and to support all our mission in life, what we want to do. It's all underlying there. So I would say take the leap and just trust you as mom.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I think I just love what you just said about health and physical health being the support so that we can do and accomplish our mission in life. I love that, because it's so true. I mean, that's why we are here, is, that each one of us has a purpose, has a mission in life. but it is extremely difficult to realize that mission in life, you know, which is related to our vocation, but also just being a member in our family and our friendships and our joy and our social responsibilities, and all those things tie into our mission in life, you know, but how difficult it is to even think about that when your physical body is always distracting you with disease and physical discomfort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there any correlation that you noticed between emotional stress and physical symptoms?
Yeah, so I mentioned that I have a very stressful job with Chicago Public Schools.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, you know, and it's not handled 100%, you know, like I still have stresses at work, but I don't have the like the cloudy, I don't know, sensation in my brain that I would completely shut down and not be able to think very well. Like,
Okay.
I would start to get overheated all of a sudden. Everyone else around me is fine. So it was like this cascade of stressful events, you know, and it would happen in my body. So I'm thinking that that's not happening anymore. My husband noticed that I'm very resilient with my job and my attitude about work. So I think meditation and being mindful about mind body really does support me in this very, very stressful environment at work.
Yeah.
And I feel like people look at me differently. I'm not as like, I'm not as serious, and I can actually play a little bit, and you know, I'm a little lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
I think that gets noticed.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So your husband has noticed a change since you've done this course, and people that you work with have noticed a change in your way that you handle stress.
True. Yeah. And just my whole being at work is different.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
It is.
So is there anything else you would like to share or add before we wrap up?
Let's see. I would like to add that, I mean, I can get emotional thanking you for guiding me through.
No.
Really, I appreciate it. I feel like I'm 60, I'll be 60 in February, so I feel like I hit the tail end of the technology introduction in daily life, so I'm really challenged regarding technology. Once I got over that, I feel that your support has really guided me through a really difficult time, and you were able to do it in such a way that was, you know, I could get little bits of information and integrate it into my life. And it was like that, a little bit more information every week. So I feel like I'm good to go. I'm really, you know, in a very good place to move forward in life.
It's amazing.
I know.
Ready to fly the nest.
But I'll be counting on you.
Right.
Checking in on you. For sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just so grateful that you have this foundation of knowledge. To me, it's almost like you had to learn a foreign language,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with all the Indian names and terms, and you know, I just want you to know that I appreciate that, and that you were able to give it as a gift. It's so important to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you too, and being part of the program, Cathy. I loved working with you. I love working with you. All right. Well, enjoy this holiday today, and thank you so much for your time.
All right. Bye, Monica.
Okay. Bye-bye.